Yes, it is our final match of the day. One more spot is left in Championship Sunday. Is it going to be OpTic Texas or will it be the LA Thieves, Jay? I felt like we were here like 30 minutes ago where the LA Thieves were getting smoked.
Yep, we were here like 45 minutes ago, and LA Thieves basically did not turn their monitors on. No one was shooting back. Outslayed by 46 kills in that series. Overall, Team KD at .69. They just got to forget about that one, man. They need to answer into this series early, and it has to start with map 1.
It absolutely has to, man. And obviously, considering on the other side, as Merc pointed out, right, OpTic Texas, it's their very first series of the day. But so far throughout the elimination bracket, after the loss versus Florida, they have been on a roll, dominating teams in Search and Destroy, getting 3-0 victories. But talk to me, buddy. How important is this game 1 specifically for the team who just got stopped?
LA Thieves, they need to come out and be super aggressive and set the tone right off the rip of this series. On this Kabuto hardpoint, we saw how they struggled massively versus Atlanta FaZe. #1 team when it comes to break percentage. Every single time Atlanta FaZe was set up for a hill, they simply could not touch it. 100 to 10. And when it comes to the score differential, they were not shooting back. And right here versus OpTic Texas, coming off of 2 great 3-0 victories yesterday, they need to bring it. But here we go, Toronto. Last game of the night. OpTic Texas versus the Thieves. On Kabuto, here we go.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a fun one indeed. A rematch from that Major 3 qualifier where it was a 3-0 for OpTic Texas. And right now, at P1 toward the top gun, it is Shotzzy, streaky as ever, starting things off on a lovely little 3 spree. As we said, he has had his fun with the Thieves in the past and starting things off well, Jay.
And with only 20 seconds left, Thieves have to start thinking about that rotation because OpTic are winning a majority of these gunfights. Drazah does fine too, though. So this remaining 15 is going to go in favor of the Thieves. Now off the rotation, OpTic do flip those spawns. Now have control of backside green. You have one player who's already in a position, which is going to be Shotzzy. A huge rotation gunfight versus Envoy.
Big gunfight to win. Prolute and Scump solid as ever. Shotzzy, despite the pistol coming out from Envoy, is able to silence him as well. So despite a great start for OpTic Texas, LAT able to stabilize for a moment, but now the rotation comes in toward top boat. OpTic Texas, not just with time early, but also those spawns. LAT have got a decision to make. They've either got to jump in the hill or at least make a play for the spawns. Right now, they are unsuccessful at both of those ventures. 3 fall, and Drazah, he drops as well. Another team wipe there for OpTic, reaching 50.
Great hold so far from OpTic, and with 25 seconds left, Prolute on a 5 spree before he does get shut down. They're playing this beautifully. This has been a flawless hold at this P2. They're controlling the spawns for P3. They're giving up those remaining 15 seconds once again to LA Thieves. They're just thinking big picture. As long as we're set up properly for these hills, we will continuously hold this lead.
Okay, trying to make a route, just gets dealt with by Dashy. I mean, he finds that kill. He instantly has the opportunity to find one inside of green, and maybe we're talking about a different looking HP to start, but OpTic Texas win the fights that they have to, and right now, Shotzzy was contesting for some time over at P1. Scump will look to join alongside of him, as Dashy's now going to be off spawn. LAT though, Jay, take a look at the bottom left of the screen. They are going for the spawn.
And this could be scary. If you're LA Thieves, you have to win a bunch of these gunfights and try to get out of this trap, because OpTic Texas can chain it to that P4. You're going to have Prolute on point. Scump watching over. 30 seconds remaining on this P3 hard point. You just have to go if you're LA. You have to try to get some time. But every single gunfight so far is still going in favor of OpTic Texas. That's going to be 3 down. Prolute goes massive on the hill. On a 3 spree, 20 seconds left, and they have spawns for next.
And Jay, that could do, I mean, unbelievable things to the scoreline, considering the LA Thieves, they invested so much in that hill. They don't get rewarded for it, and now they're looking at having to cross the map again. I mean, if OpTic roll into this hill the exact way that we expect to, and with the way that statistics would suggest, they could have, I mean, a 160 to 30 advantage if all things go their way. But LA Thieves in much need of an answer soon, but now it could be Scump's turn. End things out on a 4 spree. Prolute keeping things in mind. Also sits on a 4 spree himself. Had a slow game versus the Florida Mutineers, Jay, but it's been a great opportunity for him to test the waters in these last few. One away from the glide bomb is the Røkkr.
Let me tell you, Prolute plays his first match, doesn't really have a big impact, but ever since, once you get those first match jitters out the way, he's been stepping up tremendously for this OpTic Texas roster. Already going to be up by 100 points now with 20 seconds left. If you're LA Thieves, you need to just slow this game down. You need to start holding some of these great setups on some of these hard points. But as you see, with only 10 seconds left, you have OpTic Texas trying to overextend, trying to get out through that beach side to flip these spawns.
That's a big kill as well for Octane, just to keep things somewhat in place for the moment. He's trying to go for an early challenge, but we do have a number of different important gunfights going throughout the map. OpTic look to group up and try to challenge onto Octane. He gets dropped, and you've got 3 members strong for OpTic making their way through the beach. Again, LA Thieves are getting the seconds right now, which is great, but how long can they hold? 4-3 go down, and we will step aside and go to Elista now with the Texas boys.
He ran away, Drazah. I don't know where he is. Probably away. On top left. He probably ran away. Yo, what's back green? I need to see this guy. Yo, roll small with you. I'm rolling. Hear that? Stay back. They're probably gonna, I think they're gonna do something. I'm here. Yeah, Drazah was at 3 on 1. Once beat on tank, okay? Yeah, I hear that. Yo, Brandon, take your time right here. Watching our pinch. Yo, I'll beat up pinch. I have pinch, okay? Yo, I'm only pinch. One is deep left. Beat up Drazah. Absolutely beat up. Yo, stay alive, Stay alive. Second cut, Sam. Where's the guy? I got you. Last one there. Last one just shot. Yo, you shoot that, hit him. You go. Yeah, me too. I'm playing spawners with Brandon. One shot. Green to mid, Drazah. I'm watching. You have my stairs. I just drove. I'm first cut. You're punching our stairs, Brandon. Yo, watch out for their first cut. What did you be on time? Sam. Sam, absolutely.
And OpTic are spitting hot fire, almost up by 100 points. You just see the plays that Shotzzy was able to make. He finds a 3-piece while we jump into that listening. Does not allow the Thieves to get a full setup on that P5. And then gunfights going back and forth, but OpTic Texas are able to get this remaining 15 seconds. And off the rotation, it's Shotzzy and Prolute combining for 2. Now it's going to be on Drazah, the last man here. He has to win a couple gunfights. Yes, with a couple gunfights, and honestly just stay alive. But Prolute's able to sneak one through, able to drop one onto Envoy, so that 100-point lead will remain intact for the time. LA Thieves on the more preferred side when we talk about the upcoming hard points, but really, is it going to matter? The massive advantage that you've established if you are OpTic Texas is something that gives you some freedom. The same freedom we saw Atlanta FaZe have just an hour ago versus the Thieves on this very map. LAT starting to stabilize, and Drazah, at least in the meantime, goes on that 5 spree, but take a look at the routes being made from Shotzzy. Shotzzy makes that route through lower beach side to flip those spawns now for OpTic Texas to have the advantage going into this P3 with 20 seconds left on P2. So far, the Thieves have had a great hold here, basically a full 60 to try to get themselves back into this game, but so much map control right now for OpTic Texas. They're thinking about that next hill. They just cannot allow any players on the LA Thieves side to earn that glide bomb.
Oh, and Kenny, that's going to be 6 in a row, 1 away from the glide bomb. Very well, the game could sit in the balance of whether or not Kylo Ken is able to earn this streak. It could break things open, but he's got to find really that guaranteed elimination. Does not want to give his life up for free. Challenge is still going down, a currently contested hard point, and there you go. Glide bomb earned from Kenny.
Okay.
And that's now going to be 8 in a row for him. A great little moment quickly for the LA Thieves. Grabbing those spawns back and getting some very, very necessary time right now at the beach.
So far with 30 seconds left, Kenny has that glide bomb to work with, so this game is far from over. LA Thieves are starting to turn up. Trades going back and forth for Scump with the nade, is able to get him off of that time. Great team shots from Scump and Dashy. Final 15 is going to go in favor of OpTic as long as you can stay alive, don't die in this cross. Great shots from Kenny. But now you have to think, if you're OpTic Texas, you want to play this a little close, play this tight, because that glide bomb can break this setup.
That's a great call. That glide bomb is going to be coming in just a matter of moments. It feels like Shotzzy puts in a few tags and eventually does get taken down. So the early pick is there, and Kenny will drop Prolute, so 2 fall off of spawn. Come OpTic Texas, but Dashy still lingers, still waiting. Kenny there to take him down as well. LA Thieves, and you can just see in the bottom left of your screen, it is all out chaos right now here at the tower. A few more fall, and that hard point is going to be open. A current 2 versus 2 OpTic Texas and the backside of the spawns, and this could be great for them. They can start to get them in somewhat of a hold, but take a look at the routes again. Dashy and Prolute toward the beach. Will escape that hold, but again for Thieves, they're doing what they have to, Jay.
They're doing exactly what they need to do. This final 15 is going to go in favor of the Thieves. Now it's going to be a 30-point game. OpTic threw the heads-up play, though, by pushing through beach and flipping those spawns. Now you just have to try to fight for your map control. You don't have to worry about any streaks. Nothing to work with besides Gunny. It's Drazah and his teammate Envoy. They're going to try to slip through, but Scump, he's going to be the cutoff man. At least catches the guy that's trying to overextend and flip these spawns. OpTic, 24 seconds away from closing out map number 1.
And Dashy coming through with some massive kills right now.
That's a bad man.
In front of the home crowd. It's not Booze, though. It is Bruce Chance. Indeed, with the snapper. Cuts down Octane in 10 more seconds before this game 1 goes the way of the green wall. Time ticks away. One more player in the point. He gets finished. Game 1 to OpTic.
In OpTic Texas, they just came out so damn dominant. 190 to 90 going into the second half of those rotations. Just a step ahead in the beginning of that game. You could just tell LA Thieves started to get a little bit more warmed up on the second half of that game. Great holds on the P2, great holds on the P3 to bounce back. But when OpTic are making next level plays the way that they are, always having someone sneak through that beach side with about 30 seconds left on P4, they know that they cannot afford to get trapped in the back. Make the heads-up play, have a flawless hold on that P5. Not a single player from LA Thieves was even close. Everyone was sitting at that cliff side. In OpTic Texas, come out hot off the gate. Doesn't matter if this is their first match, up 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're thinking for the LA Thieves, I mean, how important that game 1 hard point was for you. As you said, you know, you're just off of a loss. I mean, you and I were talking about it in the green room. It's like, you know, how do you make adjustments if you are the coaching staff, if you're the players? I mean, when you get dominated like that, it's difficult to just instantly, you know, make some adjustments. And also considering you're facing Atlanta FaZe and then an hour later facing off against OpTic as well. So just a number of different things. But Jay, I mean, it's hard to point out, and it's difficult to point out one specific player. But the stats kind of speak for themselves. 11-22 in the opening hardpoint versus Atlanta for Envoy. I think he goes 13 and 23 here. Just not a great performance out of the SMG.
Just such a slow start from LA Thieves. They started to turn up like Kenny was taking over on this map. He goes on that ace-3, earns that glide bomb, and then this game turns into a 30-point game. You just don't have a player in that positioning towards P1 watching that overextension. With OpTic getting trapped in towards the back, they were not going to allow that. They slip on through, they flip the spawns, and eventually they're able to close it out with a great hold on that P5. But now we go into a Berlin search and destroy, and this is where it gets scary for me. Yeah. Because obviously this matchup happened last week. We saw OpTic take this into 3-0, and it was 3 Berlins back to back to back. Right. And now in the middle here, Berlin search and destroy has not been a strong suit for LAT. Pretty sure last in defensive round win percentage compared to OpTic, who are #1 on offensive attacking rounds.
Yeah, and you just ask yourself, like, what LA Thieves are we going to see just in general in series, but more specifically in the search and destroys? I mean, as we said, they come through in that opening match versus Minnesota. Go, what is it, 12-3 in round count. Then jump into a match versus Atlanta FaZe. On Bocage gets 6-0 smoked. It's just difficult to know what LA Thieves are going to get a majority of the time, specifically in a mode, buddy, that they've been very, I guess you could say, just in general, cold in.
Yeah, it's up in the air what kind of S&D LA Thieves are going to come out and play. Obviously, the one versus Minnesota was outstanding. Yeah. 6-2, 6-1. The one versus Atlanta FaZe, they were just getting picked apart. Majority of those rounds, they got first blood. And then every single time after that, you got to think about that 2v4 round as well. We need to use more teamwork instead of playing individually, because that's one thing that OpTic Texas have been able to do all year long. Their search and destroy is flawless because their mid-round adjustments are on point.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And I want to say, too, this is a map that OpTic Texas played, was it versus LAG? I want to say it was versus LAG, and Scump gets like a crazy, like 1v3, 1v4 clutch. So recently, it has been a good sign if you are an OpTic fan when it comes down to this match. But Jay, I don't know, man. Like let's give the Thieves a little bit of something. I know Brycey was firing off the rip, you know, with the barbecue jokes. You know, obviously, whenever they do lose 3-0, and one of the faster and more dominant series that we've seen, it's difficult to not talk about it. But I don't know, like we talk about, you know, glass half empty, half full. Give me a half full situation for Thieves. What's a positive moving into this Berlin?
Well, the positive is that they didn't get 100-point clubbed in that Gavutu. They fought back really hard to make it at least a 60-point game to close it out. So the gun started to get a little bit more warm. The only thing that's lacking right now on the LAD side is confidence. It's not there for them right now. Hopefully JCap or Shane are going to give them a speech of a lifetime because they need it. They need these points to potentially make it to champs.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, how often have we talked about throughout the Toronto Major, seeing teams have those early exits who are on the bubble, and LA Thieves are without a doubt one of those teams right now who've got to get all the points that they can. Scoring a W versus OpTic Texas would be excellent, but more specifically because of what it does for you long term. But as we head into this Berlin Search and Destroy, Jay, talk to me, what are the records for both these teams?
10-6 on the side of OpTic Texas, 2-6 on the side of LAT. Hasn't really been their best S&D map all year long, and when you take a look at map 1 stats, that's a bad man right there. 1.41 out of Dashy Bruce, Batman. He has so many nicknames. Guy's an absolute beast. So far, he answers in that map number 1, but here we go into the map number 2. We're gonna have LAT on the attack.
LAT starting things off on attack, and what an early round victory would do for their confidence. Octane is there to watch the cross, gets the information, says, hey, 3 cross today, let's get aggressive. Let's push into that B site. The only player that is going to be here is the man that fried in that first map in Dashy, but he gets red, and it's Envoy there to cut him down.
It's Envoy there to come down, and Drazah with great shots onto Shotzzy. Now in the 4v2, Octane catches the play on play. Octane catches both. Absolute beams coming out of the nickname that you love to give him. Let me hear it one time.
The human turret.
There it is.
Okay, we had to get at least 1 in today. I think we might have said it earlier, but it's fine. 1 per match. I think I'm allowed 1 per match.
It's impossible. There's no way we said it earlier.
I might have.
No, they got destroyed. No way.
That's a good point, actually. Well, it is the human turret. There you go. Counter it too. But no, I mean, just a great round, honestly, out of the LA Thieves. And a lot of it comes down to just getting that cross information. Typical Berlin S&D strats.
Yeah, they just soloed out Dashy towards lower docks and then read the push from OpTic Texas being aggressive through that A bomb. But now we go into the defense where LA Thieves tend to struggle at times. OpTic Texas, they're going to slowly approach towards outer alley. Prolute is going to get spotted. Kenny with the first blood. Unfortunately, does not get the trade. The king. Great shots to make it a 3v3.
I think Envoy, it's going to be right here, but no, it's Drazah. Octane falls as well. A great start for the LA Thieves in finding that first engagement. But it's been OpTic from that point on. A 1v3 now for what has been the S&D mastermind for the Thieves lately. And a major impact versus Minnesota, and now brings it to a 1v2.
1v2 bomb for OpTic Texas is already rotated towards that B bomb. You can have Scump who puts himself in a position to just watch this cross or watch the back base. Great crossfire is going to be set up between Scump and Shotzzy.
He knows. He knows.
Yeah, he's reading this one.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I thought he had that one. All right. I thought it was the Dark Prince who knew what was going on, but Scump says, hey, baby, I'm still the king. I know what you're thinking. I'm a step ahead. Ooh, with the snapper.
Pretty sure that guy's the same age as me. His reaction time is like a 16-year-old. Unbelievable shots right there from Scump. Pretty sure he picks up 3 on that round.
My goodness, and as we talked about, man, he has had some unbelievable search and destroy performances. I know we talked about the clutches, you know, his ability to turn up when they were down 1-5 just yesterday, but it feels like his game as he's gotten older has only improved when it comes down to search and destroy. But into this round 3 we go. LA Thieves back on the attacking end. It's Prolute through the shots. It does not matter. Drazah fills him with lead, but Prolute not affected by any means. Brought low in HP, and OpTic now in a 4v2 situation.
Now in a 4v2. If you're OpTic, you can even give up this bomb plan if you need to. As the bomb is going to start getting planted. You have 1 player in Scump, so at least trying to time this flank, but you know Octane is going to be the safety net. You have to clear a back warehouse. So slowly going to attack this from back middle. 3 players committing towards this flank.
Octane does not do any damage there to Prolute. In the meantime, Envoy falls. They know exactly where Octane is hiding. It's a headshot for the first, but ultimately too many players alive. As you said, Jay, you can allow for them to plant the bomb every day of the week. They've got numbers. And it was the rookie who got things off to a hot start in that round.
Yeah, you could just tell Prolute's playing with a whole different level of confidence. All the time in his interviews, I love to run at people in S&D because pro players play scared, and right there he showed it. Breaks right through bottom P2, gets one, and then gets out with his life. Massive plays from Prolute to start off the initial gunfight. As OpTic walk away with the round with a beautiful retake on towards B. Now if you're LAT, you just need to shut down their push right here. You need to spread map, play for the information because OpTic is so good at those mid-round adjustments.
Yeah, they're so great at those mid-round adjustments, and you and I were talking about it. I mean, they're great at either bomb site on this Berlin. The reason why it's so strong is that they're clinical at both. Shotzzy pulling out the sniper. Cracks a few shots, but ultimately no damage done in the end. Envoy tries to get aggressive, but picked off again from Bruce. A great start for OpTic once more. Can he spotted and destroyed. Dashy doing it in front of the home crowd. Prolute nearly escaped after getting that plant down. Does not do either in the situation, but it's Scump that gives the numbers once more toward the boys in green, and Drazah hits the deck.
Just starts right there with Shotzzy with the sniper. It kind of threw me off with Shotzzy with a sniper in his hand. Usually expecting an MP40, but he gives the communication to his team that 2 players are at this A site. Let's try to wrap it back and play soul towards B. Envoy gets caught being aggressive and already put themselves in the man advantage. OpTic close out the round, up 3-1. They're making this one just look easy, man.
And I think we already start talking about, you know, from a series perspective, this is just one of those rounds, one of those situations. If you're LA Thieves, you can't afford to lose it when it comes to confidence. You cannot afford to go down 4-1 versus this OpTic team, who have been so lethal in search to destroy. And even with the addition of Prolute, he has only been a positive when it comes down to this roster. Shotzzy, knowing top fire well, that window has been his home. Bomb goes down for Thieves, and now it's time for Texas to make the retake.
30 seconds to work with. Shotzzy already jumps himself in towards bomb site. He's gonna be able to find a second as well. An instant hop to defuse. I don't know if LAT are gonna be ready for this. Only 1 player left, it's gonna be Kenny. The bomb is almost gonna be done. He does take him down. As Kenny, he's just finessing his way through the hallway, but the king with great shots, and Dashy. Great movement to get towards that bomb. I thought Kenny had a good chance of at least forcing it to a 1v1, but once again, Scump's reaction time is a lot better than mine. He wins the gunfight. OpTic go up 4-1.
That is a frustrating moment if you're Kenny. You're like, guys, I'm literally by myself, and I'm taking nearly 3 players out. And now staring at a major deficit already in this search destroyed, down 4-1. And we are to just start to repeat ourselves. A must-win round if you are the LA Thieves. Drazah off to a 1-4 start. Just get something going. We've seen a lot of presence at that B site, at least for OpTic so far. At least toying with the idea of A. As Dashy goes spread, here comes the attack. Kenny, first one here.
Kenny at least puts himself in a great spot. At least cause some problems. He finds the first. Unfortunately, can't get the trade. And this is where Shotzzy can hit a back alley, at least make it a 2v2. So now Shotzzy and Dashy versus Octane and Envoy.
Okay.
Bomb is going to start to rotate back. You have both players from LA Thieves trying to attack this from the middle of the map, but this might play right into Shotzi's hand. So they're going to get completely caught off guard, and the bomb is going to be able to go down at B.
LA Thieves, let's see how quick they do realize this. Dashy just fell off the map. All right. Here we go. Shotzzy quickly in a 1v2, and he gets beamed. We'll have to get a quick shot on what exactly happened. But Jay, he was like along the docks. I mean, but maybe he just gets a little too close to the water there. I don't know.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Dashy just decided to go for a swim mid-round. You even saw the way that Shotzzy was going for that bomb plant as well. He's also going to plant it towards the window. So at least make it easier for Dashy on the clutch, but fortunately just backs up a little too much. Right into the water.
You see the reaction on his face, like, Shotzzy? Yeah, I'm dead. Oh, where'd that come from? I might have fallen off the map.
I guess he did it for Clayster, because he did just lose challenges, you know? Nah, it's unfortunate.
You gotta throw shit Clay's way. He just lost. We love you, Clay. We love you, Clay. Here we go. Well, Thieves get the round that we said they had to get. By their efforts or not, we are here indeed. Swing round, all ready for the Thieves. Oh, and that would have been a great first blood, but Shotzzy, 8 HP, manages to survive. And says, hey, it was a 1v2 last round, this time a 1v1, I will take it. Scump and Envoy continue to do it, but now it's Prolute's turn. Shots exchanged either way, but ultimately it is trades. To start, as Scump again stays alive. And finally, will be taken down by Drazah.
Now Shotzzy in the 1v2. Drazah does pick up bomb, but he is gonna be able to spot Shotzzy as well. Shotzzy tucks himself into the corner. Drazah gonna go for the pre-fire, and Shotzzy able to win the gunfight, but not able to find the second. Octane with the immediate trade. I can't even believe he won that first gunfight.
I have no idea how that happened. He just tucked away in a corner. That is some scary reactions. Some terrifying reactions, but LA Thieves, despite how they've got it done, it's been back-to-back rounds. We'll see if they can level this thing at 4 apiece. As we said, search, destroy, it has been up and down. We'll see if they can find some more of that magic. A different team when it comes to land. As Octane putting in some bullets toward everybody, as it's really a shooting gallery over toward that B site as Prolute falls. Bomb is down for OpTic, down in numbers.
Now it's going to be a 4v3 retake. You do have one player, and Kenny, who works his way all the way around train side. But he's not actually going to commit towards flanking warehouse. Octane does take down Dashy on the 4v2. If you're Scump, just want to play your life, but Kenny, he finds him. Octane finds the second. 4 up, 4 down. LA Thieves with 3 rounds in a row. With a great retake, great first blood from Envoy. Have been able to tie this search and destroy up now at 4.
And a massive swing just in this game. You can start to feel it. You can start to feel it. I mean, whenever Dashy falls in that situation, it gives a round for LA Thieves. They start to see that scoreboard. They start to gain a little more confidence here and there. And they're finally able to slow down what has been a full momentum train. Really on the other side of the stage, whether it's been FaZe or OpTic Texas. A moment to breathe. And maybe for Thieves, a chance to get back in this series.
So right now, LAT, they're just playing for information. 2-2 spread across the map. You do have one player in Scump who puts himself in a great position bottom middle. Ready to attack this flank whenever he can. As the bomb is slowly gonna approach towards A. Can have Shotzzy at least there to give the information to the team where the push is coming from. But with Shotzzy having to reposition right there with great shots from Octane, it's time for Scump to attack.
Time for Scump to attack, and once more it is Drazah. Prolute pistol out, okay! Swerving inside of the bookstore, eventually dropped. And now it is a quick 2v4. Engagements handled, and Dashy left in the 1 versus 3. Sees Octane going for a dive. And there you have it. LAT down 4-1. Now find themselves on map point.
That was just great patience from LAT. To basically force that first kill onto Shotzzy and then read the plays of the players being aggressive. They take down Scump through secret door. They catch the player in Prolute on the late flank. Then Dashy left in the 1v4. Not an easy task to get done. 4 rounds in a row for the Thieves. Momentum is starting to change towards their side as they are 1 round away from tying this game up at 1.
Thieves have done a great job so far throughout this game at getting those first bloods. We'll see if they can get it in this round. Really seems to be the focus throughout this comeback. Bomb. And it's going to get dropped instantly there from Shotzzy. Envoy, first one here. Can he make a pick? Can he find that first blood? The nade tossed out, ready to go. Shotzzy, weather the storm. No damage done, but he's at least inflicted it upon the Dark Prince. Staying alive toward the docks, but he does find the first and also the second. Shotzzy eventually brought down, but he's done the damage that he had to for OpTic. Octane and Drazah now bring it to a 2 versus 2. All on to Octane, or we've got ourselves around 11.
15 seconds. 15 seconds, and Dashy knows he has to be playing close towards that bomb. And with OpTic on the aggressive fast A plant, LA Thieves in 4v4 retake situations are 28%, and it showed right there. Great work from Shotzzy to find that 2-piece on bomb. before eventually getting taken down, and we have a round 11.
Toronto, you like round 11s? So do we. We like ourselves some round 11. I guess it's fair to say, you know, if you are on, you know, supporting some teams out there, it can get a little stressful from time to time, but we love ourselves some round 11s. Berlin has set the stage. OpTic looking to go 2-0 up Thieves, hoping for some life to give themselves a chance at Championship Sunday. It is OpTic on the attack as they carefully make their way into the A side, but Drazah's here.
Oh, and Drazah finds a huge first blood onto Prolute. Trade not gonna be there. It's now in the 3v4. OpTic have to slow down. Bomb is gonna get picked up by Scump. But what kind of information can Dashy get from top 3? He's gonna be the guy giving the callouts. It's gonna be LAT full on attack through back alley. Scump unfortunately gets taken down now, 4v2, left up to Dashy and Shotzzy.
Shotzzy find a pick. Some shots exchanged throughout Berlin. Shotzzy gets great timing. He gets great timing, finds one onto Envoy. And now, it gives them a chance. As we said, loves that window. Okay, Drazah's there. And now it's all on to Dashy, a 1v3, and LA Thieves come roaring back in this Berlin, down 4-1, but get the job done in OT. There is the life that we've been waiting for.
LAT just started slowing down this search to destroy every single round to get back into this game, down 4-1. Starts on the attack, they close out that one, then down 4-2. Massive plays from Drazah to really step up in this search and destroy. He finds that first blood all the way in the final round, gets out with his life, and then that's what you call teamwork. The Thieves stack up towards that A-bomb, they attack through back alley, they win the engagement versus Scump. Then in the 4v2, even with Shotzzy finding that kill, LA Thieves had every single cut off.
Yeah. A
crossfire set up, ready for the trade at any moment. Are able to climb back all the way down from 4-1 to close out this search and destroy in a 6-5 matter. Now the series is tied at 1-1, and that's a great thing for LA Thieves, because now momentum is starting to go on their side. You can just tell in that search and destroy, confidence was there as well.
Yeah, it absolutely was, and very similar to what we talked about when they were facing off against Minnesota. They slowed the game down. They allowed for, I guess you could say, the mistakes to be made on the other side, find those first bloods, and tell you what, man, that is such a massive comeback for the LA Thieves. I mean, Nameless was talking about it coming into this series. He was talking about how this could be a roster change type of series. You get swept by OpTic Texas, you get eliminated, I mean, dominantly by the two best teams in the game. That could be an opportunity where you're thinking, hey, we're going to the end of the season, and there was no question about it that we are not on the upper echelon of the CDL right now. A major, major game for the LA Thieves to take, and my goodness, man, we've got ourselves a series. I was hoping that it wasn't going to be a 3-0, and thankfully it will not be. Toronto is being treated to an excellent, excellent game to close out this CDL Saturday. Who will make it to tomorrow, as we have got Game 3 Berlin control up right after this break. Everybody is having a party. Tell you what, man, this major has been absolutely incredible. The city has been fantastic. I'll tell you what, man, these are some of the best COD fans that we have in the world, and they are watching a great match go down right now between OpTic Texas and the LA Thieves. One more spot left in Championship Sunday. And Jay, we have got ourselves a back and forth series off of that round 11 where Thieves was able to take it. We got ourselves a series now.
That was a tremendous map from LAT to come back 4-1, to not go down 0-2 in this series going into this Berlin Control, because last time you did play this map versus OpTic Texas, it was a quick 3-0. This is going to be everything, man. This map is going to tell me how the series is going to go. Obviously, OpTic are the best team at this map. #1 on the defensive side, and I'm pretty sure also #1 on the attacking side as well. They average about 5 ticks on their offenses, so if you're the Thieves, you have to make sure that you're shutting down, especially that B push.
Yeah, you've got to. Like we said, when it comes down to both these teams, and we talked about it as well, like LA Thieves, if they can at least get to that control, there's a chance, right? Yeah. Because both of these rosters, I want to say, have more reps than any other teams in the CDL when it comes to Berlin Control. Like we were talking about how LA Thieves last game going into their series versus Atlanta had played like 6 straight Berlins. OpTic obviously have loved themselves some Berlin that we've been able to watch throughout those Major 3 qualifiers too. So if there was a map, right, where things could definitely get mixy, head to that round 5, and who knows what could occur, it would be this very map and mode. So I'm excited to get into this one, man. This is going to be fun.
I am, man, especially with the way that Drazah just came out and played in that Search and Destroy. Drazah's about to start flexing on people. 11-5 in that SD to bring it back for his team. But we got to get into this Berlin Control. You have to find success if you're the Thieves on your defensive rounds. 33% win rate compared to OpTic, who are 90% on their defense.
Goodness.
This is going to be a tough one, man. This is going to be a tough one.
It is. Thieves are going to have to work for it, but I tell you what, man, Berlin Control has become one of my favorite game modes to commentate over. As you see the stats so far throughout this series for the LA Thieves, one that does stick out, though, is Mr. Envoy, the Dark Prince. We'll see if he can pick up his pace when it comes to this next respawn. OpTic Texas will begin things on the attacking end. For those that may be new to Control, we've got that A zone, that B zone. You capture one, you get an extra minute on the clock. 3 ticks per zone. You really want to grab as many as you can. As LA Thieves start things off very, very nicely on their opening team engagement.
They hold the early push from OpTic Texas, attacking towards that B point. Now forces all of OpTic. Transition over or towards A. Gonna have Octane. He's gonna be here first, at least trying to play this patient. Eventually does get taken down by Scump. You're still gonna have 2 players from LAT trying to attack this. Envoy and Kenny combined for 2. Envoy starting to wake up so far in this Control, already at 3-0. You see what #7 and Drazah is doing as well. He's forcing all of OpTic Texas to continuously spawn at water.
Envoy is still roaming. Envoy as well finds one onto Scump. Now make it 4-0. Streaks could be in his future, as he'll also have at least the early information on the Shotzzy. Goes for the drop shot. 1 onto Scump, a 5-0 beginning, and shuts down Shotzzy as well. 1 away from the glide bomb, and how about Envoy? A slow start to this series, but comes roaring here into Berlin. 25 seconds on the clock, and OpTic have got to get things going. Rush your way into that A zone and get a minute on the clock ASAP.
Envoy, he's not going to slow down. Also, the pinch is coming in from Kenny with 25 seconds. A big one-on-one between Shotzzy and Octane. Shotzzy trying to stay alive, but Octane with the pistol, able to come out on top. There's so many players from OpTic continuously spawning at boat. They're just going to flood and play the trade. So OpTic are going to be able to secure this 8-point, extend this time by a minute. But what a start from Envoy. 0.62 so far in this series. 8-2 with the glide bomb already.
Yeah, I can promise you that KD's going up by the second. And the positive for LA Thieves as well is that you've got a guaranteed Berlin hardpoint too. So we talk about different players that can step up for this LA Thieves team. We talk about it can be Drazah, and obviously we know that it can be Envoy. Two such talented young players that we've got in the CDL are trying to do it big for Los Angeles now. Making their prowl towards the flank, and a great shot comes in from the Røkkr. Now sits on 4 in a row as Prolute.
And that's 3 dead. So now OpTic can be aggressive into this train side. You just have to read a couple of these players that are trying to attack the flank. As Scump does find that opening kill onto Kenny, they're able to get on this point. But Envoy and Octane combined for 2. Now you're going to force OpTic off of that point. You're going to try to play for a couple of these spawn kills, but there's only 30 seconds to work with. You have to try to stop this clock.
It's almost like a search and destroy round. Like you just got to find a pick and then work from there. Well, pick is going to be granted. Drazah as well gets done. The great information out of the Ant-Man as he quickly jumps into the point, getting information left, right, and center. Prolute as well continues to do damage toward the outer alley, eventually falls, and Shotzzy on reply still remains the last player from OpTic Texas past that 50-yard line. And while they just continue to get picked apart, it looked like a good movement there for Texas. They get that one pick at that B zone, but that appears that that is all they will get in this round, Jay.
Yeah, such a dominant round from the LA team. Just consistently putting bodies over towards that 8-point. Envoy goes massive with an early 7 spree to pick up that glide bomb, but they hold strong on the defensive end. Now, if you're OpTic, at least you get that 1 tick of progression towards B. Because now they're going to be putting themselves up by 4. They just need to be strong on the side that they've been strong all season long on. 90% on their defensive wins.
And we know it too, man. You're just getting back in that conversation around Envoy, who has had a great start to this control. I mean, you've been on this team before, right? You know what it's like to be on the OpTic side. You've been on the cheers, and now you've been experiencing the boos by the very same fans. If they lose this series, there's going to be a lot of people who point out the stats, who point out the shortcomings from his performance. Realizing such is starting to turn up. OpTic with the crowd behind him. Now sitting into their first defense, and Kenny, well, he could have a glide bomb in his future as well, Jay. He's on 6 in a row. And the Thieves look to be able to grab this 8-point. There's nobody here.
Yeah, Kenny's just taking his time. He knows that this 1 kill is going to be massive if he can pick this one up.
Oh,
and he does. Great shot onto Prolute. Now you have 2 glide bombs to work with. They're completing this A segment. The second point is about to be done.
A very, very healthy beginning to this Berlin control for the LA Thieves. Let's step aside and see how the comms are sounding right now with the team.
Okay. I'm coming out.
What's me fire? I'm with you. I'm with you, though.
I'm playing through mid 2, Zach. You got some guards that got it, yeah. I hear you.
What's right there?
I'm mid.
Secret step.
Halo.
Nice, 3.
That's all you, Zach. He's looking for
We're good. I'm giving up secret.
It's up down.
Watch me outer. Watch out back left. Outer. Hold, boys, hold.
I'm looking for
outer when you can.
Yeah, I'm left mid. I'm with mid. I'm down. Yeah.
I'm gonna slow play our side outer.
Playing to kill Stone, bro.
Dashy is alive outer point.
No, that'd be nice. Should be off me. Off is not weak. He in off his left corner. Left corner off his
Can we push on our glass, guys? They can be pushed on our glass. Look at outer right now. I don't see it on door.
Oh, you do. We're deep. He's up here. Inner, telling you long. Alright, take our time, bro. Take our time.
In long, Prolute dead. Secret. Outer, deep outer. Capnating this guy. Outer door.
Outer to run it out of
Bro.
Oh, God,
Yeah, he's barrel door. Outer, watch out.
I got him.
Barrel door.
Secret stairs. One shot, secret stairs. I'm in.
I mean, all in all, a great little check-in there with the LA Thieves. You saw them having some great success for a moment at that B zone. You have everybody, I mean, really just, I guess, doing exactly what they need to. It sounds like a a really top-tier team when it comes down to moments like these. Everybody giving the right call-outs, talking about when to slow down, when to move forward, and ultimately even calling out names. A great little performance that could be brewing right now for LAT.
And this might be the play. This is the route that Kenny's able to make. He finds that spawn kill onto Shotzzy, but Prolute goes big. Finding that kill onto Envoy back alley. He's now going to slow down that pressure, but the pitch is going to be here. Kenny does take down the first, Octane with the second. That's going to be 3 down. Last player up is going to be Shotzzy. You at least have to stay alive. The stack is going to come in, and the Thieves, it's going so damn fast. OpTic all spawn are not going to make it. They needed one break, one execution on getting into that B point, and they get it done with a clean 4 down.
How about the LA Thieves, man? How about these plays? You called it out, Jay. You're talking about how Kenny was on the long route, and they just find everything that they have to. The coordination was on point, as we talked about it, and as we heard in the listen-in. Great work from this LA Thieves side, who, as we talked about it, were down 4-1 in that search destroy. They turned things up, and they have brought it into this control, up 2-0 now, and remain on the defensive end. OpTic have got to get something going.
OpTic are currently down by 2 segments. They're going to try to commit towards an early B push once again. As Octane and Drazah are causing them problems, you do have Shotzzy who's able to sneak his way in through stone steps. That might be a huge 2-piece coming in from the King. It's going to allow Shotzzy to get on this point. A huge 1-on-1 between him and Envoy. Gets the assistance of Prolute, and that's going to be 2 down. You have all of LA Thieves trying to fluff from top flat. You just need to at least stall some time for OpTic to get the rest of their players in position. But the first thing is going to be here. Still a lot of time to work with.
A lot of time to work with. Octane with a great nade. Meanwhile, it is Scump trying to make some plays in through fire. His position made known, but as long as he stays alive, it does extend a possible future push, but eventually snuffed down, eventually dropped. OpTic still trying to invest a few bodies toward that B zone, but they do at least at the end of the day grab a tick to start off this round. But LA Thieves aware of the strategy, Jay. They instantly force all of their attention now over at A, trying to apply as much attention to OpTic as possible. It could be Kenny's turn to once more go off, having himself the map at 21 and 14. Trades either way. The sole man inside of the objective remains Prolute.
And you just see what Octane is doing. Him sitting on that trade side is influencing the spawns for OpTic Texas to continuously try to attack this from water side. They're just running into the pre-aim of Drazah before Dashy takes care of him. As still, OpTic have not completed this A point. Envoy and Kenny are being so annoying in towards the middle of the map, able to find all 3 kills. Dashy, the farthest player, pushed up. And with 30 seconds left, LA Thieves currently up by 4 lives. They're just waiting for them to hop this point.
Wait for them to get on the objective, but a great shot comes in from Dashy. The pistol out, and then A zone will be successfully captured. So another minute on the clock. But the battle has only just begun. Considering the map position that LA Thieves have, and consider that you got to get 2 ticks over that B zone, it is not going to be easy versus a team who is frying right now. And on top of that, Jay, they've got 2 glide bombs.
Yeah, they got 2 glide bombs. They're currently up by 7 lives. If you are the LAT, you probably want to choose to invest one here to at least read the play that's coming in, but doesn't matter when you're starting to beam. Drazah and Kenny able to take down 2. No more respawns remaining for OpTic Texas. It's going to be their last round. The glide bomb is going to get invested. You're going to be able to catch a player in Scump in towards fire. Actually, he doesn't. Great job for him to dodge, and Scump also picks up that kill, but he gets taken down, and there's only 2 players left, and
this one's done.
LA Thieves just came out and made a statement on this map number 3. They didn't even show up in the series versus Atlanta FaZe, but last time they played this map specifically versus OpTic Texas, they got 3-0'd. This time around, they do the 3-0'ing.
Oh my goodness, you can see what it has done to the crowd as well. I mean, this started off as outright dominance. And the script, it is totally flip-flopped. And it was OpTic that looked like they were gonna be up 2-0 in this series, and in a matter of moments, it is now LA Thieves who come out with the round 11 search destroy, and now a dominant 3-0 victory here into this Berlin control. And the guy who, to me, Jay, turned around his game. I mean, obviously, Kenny has a phenomenal performance, 29 and 17. You got to give him all the props for that. but Envoy came out in that opening round, go 7-0, and it felt like from that point, LAT knew they had a chance.
Yeah, he just came out the gate swinging, man. Like when you start off a control 7-0, you earn that early God bomb. It just sets the tone, especially on the defensive end, where OpTic usually find a lot of success on their attacking rounds. But when Envoy and Kenny, with those SMGs in their hands, causing so many problems around that P2 area, they can never get a clean setup around that A point. And every single time, at least on their defensive round, they shut down that initial push from OpTic Texas towards that B point. Once you do that, you allow one of your players to slip all the way through towards that train side and continuously influence those spawns for OpTic to spawn at water. Just wasn't the game plan for them. LA Thieves get it done in a 3-0 fashion, now up 2-1 in the series.
And you got to give them all the props, man. You've got to give them all the props for the way that they've been able to adjust. Obviously, job is not done just yet, but if you're on the OpTic side, man, that's gonna like really mess with your mental. I mean, a decent amount. You thought you had that search and destroy, and then you look at the monitor and you're like, wait, it's been like 5 or 10 minutes, and now we're already down 2-1 on the brink of elimination. Keeping things in mind as well, that Berlin control, that ends a 5-game winning streak for OpTic Texas as well. And now coming into this Berlin hardpoint, Jay, what are your thoughts, man?
Obviously, all momentum is going to be on the LAT side. If you are in the stands right now, the green wall needs you so they can stay alive in this tournament. Currently down 2-1. Just the way that LA Thieves have turned this series around is very typical. Yeah. Almost get 100-point club in that first map. You're down 4-1 in the search and destroy. Slowly start climbing back, and then to beat a team like OpTic Texas on their best control map in a 3-0 fashion, confidence is there. The gunnies are starting to get hot, and this is what you expect when you have such a star-studded lineup. They're starting to shine. Yeah, they absolutely are. And as we talked about, it's been Drazah. When it comes down to that search and destroy, we see Kenny and Envoy have an excellent performance. It feels like the puzzle pieces are starting to come together for this LA Thieves team, but could it be that Game 5 force really is going to be the question right now? Is OpTic Texas somewhat stunned for a moment, but by no means are they on the chopping block just yet? But yeah, I gotta talk about it too, man. The last time that we did see these teams play, we did see a Berlin hardpoint, and I do remember a 13 streak that came out of Shotzzy. Oh yeah, Shotzzy was a man on a mission in that qualifier match. He was just flying everywhere with that MP40. Basically doubles up his streaks, doesn't even need to use them as well. He went crazy the last time they played, but totally different story now. LA Thieves on land, a different squad, find themselves up 2-1. On this map specifically, I'm pretty sure LAT are second in rotation win percentage. On the opposite side, OpTic Texas are 11th in rotation win percentage. So this is going to be just an all-out rotation battle between both of these teams. You need to have early setups for those money hills like P3.
You absolutely do. Berlin HP, will it be the final resting place for this series? Or do OpTic have some fight left in them to send us to a Game 5 to close out this impeccable CDL Saturday? The Toronto Major has had it all and doesn't have at least one more Game 5 left in it. It is time to find out. Berlin hardpoint, here we come, Jay.
It's a big one, man. A big one for LAT. I can't believe the turnaround that they have done so far.
It's staggering.
45 minutes ago, they just got 3-0'd by Atlanta FaZe. Demoralized. Every single map was not close. They come out, they lose their opening hardpoint. That's usually a momentum going into a series when you're coming off of a series like that. But for them to currently be up 2-1, they have been turning up, but OpTic Texas are far from done. Here we go into the Berlin hardpoint. OpTic gonna be the first ones here.
And as we said, last time around, these teams matched up on Berlin HP. It was the Shotzzy highlight reel with 42 and 17. On top of it, had a 13 kill streak. We'll see if it can be the ultimate difference as he flies through the opening hard point. That's going to be 2 in a row to start things off for him. A nice 20-0 padding for OpTic, but just like that, LAT run their way through. Dashy on the flank also gets dealt with.
Great break from LAT. You still have the king here. Try to fight for this remaining 20 seconds. The test is going to be here, but the king able to find that kill onto Envoy. Now you're thinking about that rotation. OpTic did a great job at P1. They already have Shotzzy in a position off the rotation, sitting on those P2 steps. Finds that opening kill onto Drazah. They know that Octane is in this position towards top 3. Envoy with a massive kill onto Scump. With those gunfights going in favor of the Thieves, they're going to be able to set up properly for this P2.
That's just a great process of elimination as well. If you're Thieves, you got quite a few stragglers from Texas, obviously grabbing the scrap points, but trying to make their way through P5. And that just comes down to the comms that we got to listen to earlier. LA Thieves on a run, and more specifically, so is Octane. A nice 4-0 beginning for him and Envoy. Doing some great work right now inside of the library, and now it is Drazah's turn. Everybody from LAT starting to go on a streak. Kylo Ken as well. My goodness, look at the team streak that is brewing right now. LAT have woken up and have started to take over.
And they flipped the spawns as well, so now they can chain it to this P3. Octane is also on a 5 spree. If he can pick up 2 more kills, that glide bomb can be huge going into this later half of this game. OpTic are going to be able to retake the lead. They just have to execute a break on towards this P3. Drazah is so far pushed out towards the middle map, at least opens up that gunfight. But with Scump and Shotzzy combining for 3, only 1 player left in the point, and look at the spawns. Look at the spawns for the Thieves all the way across the map. 1 player here is going to be Envoy. He gets taken care of, and OpTic Texas with the break.
And that was massive. That was huge. Instantly there from OpTic Texas that quickly turns the tide of the game, as now they've got themselves a more favorable spot. As you said, they've got the spawns, but it's Kenny who does light things up nice with the early nade. Utility tossed out. Nades land either which way. Multiple angles where the Thieves can come from as Prolute spawns out. That is another situation for Thieves where it is all about the gunny, and it is there in stride. They break through that HP. They've got the lead, and now Kenny is looking to make a route.
Now off the rotation, Kenny runs right into the pre-aim of Dashy. So they win their first initial 2 gunfights. Properly set up for P4. These currently put themselves up by 10 points. No one's going to be here initially off the time. They're trying to break this at least through P2, but Dashy with a great cutoff angle finds that first kill onto Octane. Prolute with the crossfire, Shotzzy with the 3rd. They hold the first push.
Hold the first push, and really when it comes down to this hill as well, Jay, I mean, not typically one where you're going to see a major amount of seconds on, but if you've got the right hold, players in the right angles, you can see some success. But once more, LA Thieves, they break through the front and they quickly flip the spawns. I mean, Jay, this is what we saw happen against them versus Atlanta FaZe on that Gavutu. They were late on rotations, and even when they held them, they were getting broken from the front. This time around, LA Thieves are showing us that it's not just in search, destroy, or in control, but they are here in this series, and they're ready to close it out in 4 as the first side. Our rotations nearly come to a close. We've still got that P5 lined up and ready, and it's about to be a brawl.
Yeah, if you're OpTic Texas, you have to make sure that you're controlling top flat side, but you don't want to give up a lot of time to the Thieves to get back into this game off P5. Nice little 2-piece, make it 3. All 4 down as OpTic Texas are chaining it with this P5 time. Prolute with some great shots on a 4 spree. Can potentially pick up this glide bomb. He's just watching this cut. Not trying to allow anyone to overextend and flank through trains. But Octane slips, Scump with the cover fire. So far, this has been a great hold from OpTic Texas, getting every single second on P5.
And they flip the spawns off of the plays from Prolute. He helps secure really what is the ultimate achievement goal throughout that P5. Of course, you're happy to walk away with the seconds, but you're trying to go for those spawns for next. Speaking of spawns, player number 8 in Octane trying to hit the routes, but we are looking at tons of time going either direction. It continues to favor Texas, but Thieves come out once more off of some veteran plays from the main AR. Scump 1 away from the glide, trying to stay alive. Not going to be earned. Sweat off the brow for LA Thieves. Second side, here we go.
LA Thieves going to start off with their initial setup. Just have to read the player in Shotzzy. Working towards this flank. He's going to at least find his player in Kenny. Can't win the gunfight. Great team fire coming in from Envoy, as all of OpTic trying to at least break this from the front. Envoy finds a 2-piece. Prolute with the trade. OpTic are able to get in. They just have to win a couple of these gunfights, but Kenny and Drazah combined for 3. They get right back on it.
Some of the X factors from LA Thieves continue to strut, and one of them right now is going to be Envoy. 3 fall in the feed. Last player alive is going to be Shotzzy, and Thieves again with the team wipe. Envoy even up close and from afar. He's letting that P40 go, MP40 go. And now it's Kenny's turn, possibly a great opportunity for the flank. Finds 1. Oh, nearly finds the 2nd. OpTic Texas will hold. Final 5 seconds go their way up in this match, but LA Thieves are gonna have that preferred position now for next.
Now, if you're OpTic Texas, you cannot allow for LAT to chain into the P3 like they did in the first rotation. As you see, Dashy's KD so far has fell off. Before falling off the map, he was at a 1.58. After 0.73, he has to try to turn it around. Great shots right there to take down Envoy. As LAT so far with a flawless hold, that's going to be 3 down. OpTic still putting a lot of pressure on, but LAT, 30 seconds left, are going to be able to retake the lead. Now, if you're OpTic, you have to back up. You have to win a bunch of these gunfights the whole rotation.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? When you hit that 25-second mark, it's like a matter of, okay, we don't want to try to put too much pressure on this. At the same time, we want to try to advance ourselves forward. Don't allow for these seconds to go unnoticed, to go unhinged, but that's exactly what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to settle with a 25-point deficit coming into this next HP, but
great shot.
As we know in Berlin, as Kenny hits the beams from afar, you can quickly make some runs on this hardcore. Octane doing great work toward the street. Kenny ultimately wins the 1v1. Take a look at the spawns. This is going to be a very crucial life. Kenny has got to stay alive. OpTic being aware of his position as it's Envoy to the rescue. Comes away with 2. Watching over for Kenny right now. Eventually dropped, but it's Kenny now on the 7 spree. Glide bomb earned and now makes it 8. Quickly dropped, but LA Thieves are here.
Thieves get the break. Kenny earns his glide bomb. This game can get out of hand right now if OpTic Texas can't find a break. 20 seconds remaining on P3. See, OpTic still gonna try to at least attack this from the front, but they're getting shut down. Only player closest to that point is gonna be Scump, a huge one-on-one. He's not gonna decide to go for it. As OpTic Texas are gonna be fully set up for this P4, but Kenny has that glide bomb to work with. It's time to set up the break.
OpTic have to be careful. Like I said, with that glide bomb coming in, they've got some places to hide, but Thieves are prepared for it. That is a huge pick that comes in from LaRue, and off of that, here comes the glide bomb. We'll see how much damage it can do. Ultimately, a 3-for-1 trade in the end, favoring the Thieves, but Dashy trying to hold true. Automaton out! Oh, and he eventually gets dropped, but trades, because of OpTic spawning as close as they do, still will remain, but any time that ticks off the clock is still favorable for the LA Thieves. And Jay, really, if you're OpTic, you cannot afford for this time to go vacant. You've got to grab these seconds, and you got to grab them soon. Back and forth we go. 15 more left at train as everybody from the Thieves continues to fry.
Kenny is absolutely beaming right now, not missing any shots. Finds himself on another 4 spree. Only 10 seconds remaining on this point. Kenny with the snaps. Able to take down 2. On another 6 spree, can potentially pick up a glide bomb, and he does so. 28 and 17 has turned it around in this series as LAT only 32 points away from closing out this game. He is not missing, man.
Kenny is having his moment on the main stage, given so much criticism, but says, watch me work. 29 and 17 eventually gets taken down, but is the catalyst to what looked like could have been the moment where OpTic ties the game, and now they find themselves in an even deeper hole. Thieves 20 points away from victory, 20 points away from getting to Championship Sunday. Does Texas have a reply? Because somebody is going to need to do something.
And right now, LA Thieves, they're controlling the spawns as well. They're so far pushed up, knowing that OpTic Texas are consistently spawning at warehouse. You have 1 player in Envoy ready off the rotation, only 11 seconds away from LA Thieves closing out this series.
They've got those spawns, they've got some great setups, at least for the moment, but Prolute and Shotzzy, they win their 1v1s. A few more seconds left before this one is done. Envoy puts the nail in the coffin, and LA Thieves down 4-1 in the search and destroy, and ever since that moment, have looked their best. A stunning moment here at the Toronto Major. It felt like it was going to be another sweep, another dominant win for OpTic Texas. But LA Thieves, the core of the team, everybody stepping up when they had to. An incredible display and a magnificent comeback.
Can't believe the performance that they just put on. An hour ago, they just got beat up so bad by Atlanta FaZe. Then the following series ends in a 3-0 for Toronto. It's only like, all right, you got 35 minutes to talk about your next series. They come in here prepared. They lose that map number 1, but they show some fight. That was the biggest thing that I took away. Showing fight at the end of that Kabuto hardpoint, not getting 100-point club was massive. And then in the search and destroy, to come back and completely shift the momentum. Down 4-1, you come back and win 5 rounds in a row to close out that search and destroy. You clutch up and dominate that control. And then on this map, they were just ahead of the game. Every single time they needed to execute a break on P3, they got it done. They were doing the little things. And the player for me that really stepped up all series long had to be Kenny. If I'm LA Thieves, I am playing the rest of the weekend on these big maps. Give me Kabutos, give me Berlins. Let's try to stay away from Tuscan and Bokash.
Yeah, man, I mean, what a performance that he has. You saw it. I mean, you can tell what it means for him. I mean, he has been the most talked about player in the CDL for the past few weeks. Ever since he has switched to that SMG role, it's not been a great time. And while a lot of these highlights are going to be with that assault rifle, it is undoubted. The talent is there. The skill is there. And we all saw it. We all saw it on full display in a moment where Thieves had to come away with W's. It was dire situations, my man. They were down 4-1. It looked like it was going to be a 2-0 start, another 3-0 loss. But that is one of the most impressive comebacks that we have seen this season, and if not, since the CDL even formed.
And if you remember what Nameless said on the desk, this match was very important for this Thieves roster.
Yeah.
The fact that they come out and play so damn well to close out this series versus OpTic Texas, who came out and had a lights-out day yesterday. Flawless in map, 6-0 for the LA Thieves. I'm telling you, to come back versus in that series versus Atlanta FaZe and the 3-0 got smoked. But then to come in here versus OpTic Texas and to close it out in a 3-1, insane stuff. They win the search and destroy, they take 2 respawns. Unbelievable, man.
It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. A total turnaround from the LA Thieves as they will advance to championship Sunday, eliminating OpTic Texas from the Toronto Major. That is going to do it for myself and Jay. We now send it down to the main stage. It is Bryce, joined alongside by not just 1, but 2 LA Thieves players.
Thank you very much. Yes, I am here on the main stage with LA Thieves, and we have got a double header for this one. Okay, so I've been doing this a long time, and the regain I have just in here is something for the ages. I did say before we went to that game, redemption can be earned, and earned you did. Yeah. I've got to ask, after what happened the last game versus Atlanta FaZe, how do you come back like you have?
Well, to be honest, FaZe played amazing. We felt like in that match we basically just laid over, just let them do whatever. I feel like we played with like 0 confidence as a team, and that's like the biggest thing for our team is confidence. So just we went to the back, just said chalk that match. We got another match for the day. Let's get our confidence flowing. Play some 2v2s against each other. Just got our shots warm and just forgot about the match.
Yeah, well, apparently
Shout out our coaches too. Shout out our coaches. They're a big help.
That was kind of incredible. If we talk about Envoy very quickly, same similar thing. Those first 2 maps, you had like a 0.62. You start off the control on a 7 streak. Like, mentally regaining from that point, what was going through your own head?
I mean, yeah, these guys took over in the S&D. I mean, we were down 4-1, and it was all them. So I know when we came to the control 1-1 series is tied, I had to come out hot. Yep. Honestly, went on a spree, and that started it all for the next 3 games.
Okay, that's interesting. I've got to ask about the comeback on the S&D then. What were the comms like backstage? What was the call, knowing that essentially you were down and going down 2-0 in the series, it could have been disastrous?
I feel like we watched a lot of bot over them, so we were basically every beginning of every round we were just pointing out a person we wanted to focus on, and I think that worked. And then our defenses, we were just getting our info and being more reactionary for it, like way faster. And I feel like that was one of the things we lacked in the S&D versus FaZe. It was a 6-0, but we weren't reacting to any comms or any info we're having on the map, and I think we did it well after the 4-1. So I think that's what led to the comeback.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously it did. It did very, very well. So my question is this, and I've already spoken to Octane, I think, yesterday about this as well, but you happen to be one of the most criticized teams in the CDL. You are held to an incredible standard, and sometimes you have fallen short. Yeah. Personally, for you both onto this one, how has it been behind the scenes dealing with that level of insight that people have just been kind of putting the spotlight on you over and over again?
Well, one thing, I mean, we don't, I would say like the criticism and everything, I kind of look past that, but I think for us, we knew in practice we were like one of the best teams. Like we felt like our practice was going amazing, it just wasn't translating to matches. So we were just trying to figure out this median of trying to get our practice into matches and find out what's wrong and what's going different in matches, and it was one of the things like we worked on super hard. And this LAN, I mean, we started out pretty big versus Minnesota. I think that was a big confidence booster for us and momentum booster. So I think ever since then, not talking about the FaZe match, but it's looked okay, it's looked good. We just, like I said before, got to keep our confidence up.
That's fair. Same question to Envoy. Obviously, you're part of this team. Deal with it in your own way. How have you coped with being under the spotlight as much as you have been?
For me, it's just been about being inconsistent. I feel like last year and this year I've been pretty inconsistent. But when it comes to the matches, like Ken was saying, like we do really well in practice. We just couldn't translate. So as soon as we started winning some searches, translating in the respawns, you know, things go our way. And when we're playing with confidence, we feel unstoppable.
Well, I'll tell you something, you looked unstoppable today, and congratulations once again to LA Thieves. Let's make a little bit of noise here in the venue. What a show has been set. Top 4 already on to Championship Sunday. Veli, I think you've got a lot of breaking down to do.
Well, my brain is breaking down right now, man. LA Thieves, so up and down, and the fact that they can have a game like that against the Atlanta FaZe and then give OpTic an L like that, that's been phenomenal. But hey, shout out to Kenny, 32-20 to close out the series. He looked like Stage 1 Kenny once again, and Merc, you made a fantastic point. Kenny on the AR looks super comfortable, and look at what he did.
I mean, he's got a swagger to him, man. When he gets going, he is just one of the best point of views to watch, honestly. When you talk about the CDL, he's been that way for years. And I don't know, obviously, you know, he's been a great submachine gun player in the past. He's been a great AR, you know, stats-wise last year and this year it just wasn't translating to results. So I think they're like, all right, screw it, let's try it. But you can obviously tell when they play maps like Berlin, when he can pull out a third AR, some S&D maps when he has it, he is a lot more comfortable with it, and the dude can pop off at any moment.
Right, Ali, you wanted something to say as well. What were your thoughts about this series ultimately?
I simply wanted to apologize to Kenny. I mean, I feel like I've been one of the harshest critics when it comes to him performance and his role swap that, you know, sometimes it's out of your control. You know, you're put in a tough situation when your team's been struggling. You try something new and maybe it doesn't go the right way right away, but he really showed up in this series versus OpTic Texas. I was completely blindsided by the fact that they were able to take this series after that first hard point, and I have to give my props to Kenny for turning up for the LA Thieves.
Right, Nameless, Envoy, the whole squad turned up, man.
I mean, this just makes no sense. I mean, that is one of the most incredible regains I have ever seen in Call of Duty history. Like, not only did these guys get smoked, they had no teamwork versus Atlanta FaZe. I mean, through the Stage 3 qualifiers as well. 1 week ago, they got 3-0'd by OpTic Texas, this exact same roster. In this series, the teamwork was there. Some of the retakes that we saw on that B bomb site and search and destroy were just chef's kiss. Like, these guys were killing all of them, acing them, and then we see them go into the control for a 3-0 victory. Envoy, like, they were shutting them down on the A site on control. Like, that is beautiful, the way that they're working that. The P3 breaks on Berlin hardpoint. Just keep these guys on Berlin and they will win the event.
In the streaks they were getting, I think it was Envoy that had like a 7 streak to start off the map. It was insane. But we actually have a Scump playing a game that's going to be the search and destroy round 11.
And we saw the stat pop up too. Like, LA Thieves, they did not have the advantage when it came to round 11s, but you saw right here just the patient plays out of the LA Thieves, and Prolute peaks a little bit too long. Drazah is able to get that first kill, and then the patience sets in. Thieves are able to run away with it.
And you know what, I gotta say, it almost feels like, it almost feels horrible, right? So Dashy and them were in the 2v1 situation. Dashy obviously, unfortunately, falls off the map, and from there, OpTic Texas fell off in the rest of this series. That's when the start started for LA Thieves to make that comeback. I mean, down 4-1 and search and destroy in a team that's been struggling this whole year. You also have to give that tip to Shane being added to this roster right
Shout
after
out to Shane,
because
man.
their S&D has looked completely different.
Take a look at the KDs right here. Go ahead, Merc. I'm sorry.
And I was just going to say, too, even looking at, like, the vetoes, this is something very small. Yes, they won 3-0, but, like, coming into this, it's almost like, do you want to play the Berlins, the control, and the hard point, right? Maybe if the vetoes are a little bit different, because, I mean, Berlin control is a map that it just feels like at any moment, you know, it takes one play over at that piece, at that site. And I think OpTic has the better system.
Yeah.
You know, maybe if they can play on Gavutu, maybe it's something different. Again, very small, but just something to bring up. And, you know, Berlin hardpoint, it's like, yes, they just won. So they're going to go for it. But that was also behind, what, a 42-14 performance from Shotzzy. Yes. I think teams tomorrow are going to be looking at what LA Thieves did tonight, what they've done this week, and they're they're going to try to flip these vetoes a little bit.
Well, hopefully so, right? Let's actually recap what's happened today. Today was insane. A lot of 3-0s, 3-1s. This was spectacular. But we kicked off today with Toronto Ultra getting a big win over the Minnesota Røkkr. It was 3-0, nameless. The hometown team was just victorious all day long.
Yeah, these guys were lights out, man. I mean, some of the plays we saw from Insight were beautiful today. And Cammy, you know, the guy that we needed to see pop off, you know, these guys like to play book hitch hardpoint. At times they've been losing it, but, you know, coming into this event, I'm like, Cammy's the aggressive player on this team next to Cleanex. Cleanex, we know what you're going to get out of him. If Cammy plays well on this map, they'll find success, and it's translated to victories, man. This is a series I thought that was going to go to distance. It did not. Ultra just dominated them.
Right, and watching Minnesota go home after that amazing Stage 3 qualifier performance, Ali. I was hoping we saw more, but their road ended.
No, it's really tough, especially because we all were speculating a little bit as well in their first matchup, right? And they come out and they give us something to get excited for. And I don't think this is the end of Minnesota Røkkr. I feel like they're going to continue to get better, and they're clearly a better team than what we saw in Major 2. So I don't think it's the last of them for sure, but Toronto Ultra just looked too good today.
And talking about systems, let's talk about the second series of the day, right? Seattle Surge faced off against Florida, and that was insane. Seattle looking better than ever. Merc, I think that this event is their best so far, man.
Oh, 100% it is. You know, just from day to day, they look like they are on point, but they're going to have a very tough challenge against Atlanta FaZe, but it's a team they are confident to play against. And yeah, I mean, everybody is having moments, but I want to give a lot of shout out to Mack, dude. Mack is playing exceptionally well this tournament, and we always talk a lot about Sib and Pred, the superstars on the roster, and I get it. But if Mack can be that third guy that he's been this week, it's a tough team to beat.
And I really hope nobody give Mack any suspicious food, okay? Yeah. No suspicious food for Mack, all right, guys? I need that out of you for Seattle Surge. I want to see the finish of what maybe we could have saw in Major 2, but also it was just a series of unfortunate events for Florida, right? Like they go up 4-2 in the Berlin S&D, and then Seattle just completely flipped the script, right? They go up 2-0 in the Tuscan Control. Seattle wins 2 offenses, like in the most insane clutch way. It came down to kills as well. Like the Seattle Surge we saw today is what we were hoping to see at the beginning of the season. Florida Mutineers, not so much.
I don't know about you guys right now, but I need to call my therapist after what we just saw today. The LA Thieves just sitting home OpTic Texas, but before that they faced off against the Atlanta FaZe. The nameless, it was like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde performance.
And this was an ass whooping from start to finish.
Yeah, they spanked them boys.
That had to be the biggest dominating series I have seen all year. I mean, we saw LA Thieves versus Boston Breach. We thought that was bad. This was bad. They ran over them. We even saw Kenny in the interview saying, like, we just laid down and let them do whatever they wanted with them.
Oh, yeah.
And that's really what happened. I mean, that's scary for the competition if this is how FaZe is playing. Some big clutches in the Search and Destroy. That's the one game mode that we wanted to see FaZe get better at. And so far, so good. From Stage 3 qualifiers to LAN, they've translated into victories, and they get it in a 6-0 fashion. So, you know, for Atlanta FaZe tomorrow, it's going to be a big day.
And Merc, one of the loudest match, well, no, the loudest match we saw today was when Toronto Ultra sent home Florida Mutineers as well. Toronto, man, they're getting the love from the crowd. I'm loving their chances to reach the finals.
I mean, top 4 right now. You know, similar to LA Thieves, what we're talking about with the hard points and the vetoes, those two teams are going to match up. Bocage right away, right, for Toronto Ultra has been their go-to. It's been how they are setting the pace. They're getting guys like Cleanex on fire, but it's been every single game mode they are clutching up. Their Search and Destroy has looked so much better. They look to all be on the same page. Ultra, man, they got a chance tomorrow.
Well, hey, hopefully Ultra keeps going strong, and they're going to need help from the audience because you saw from Insight, they're just feeding off of it so beautifully, right? But now it's going to be time to take a look at the bracket. And Ali, I was thinking about it. There's a scenario that's going to remind us of last year, right? We could actually see FaZe versus Ultra in the finals if things go their way, but still, you never know with LA and Surge still in the mix.
Things going back to the way that they should be going, Val. I don't know. Toronto Ultra is looking incredible. I have to say, you know, they're already a scary team just based off the amount of teamwork that this team has, right? The amount of calm, cool, collected. But you know how some teams depend on superstars. You know, they depend on superstars to pop off on maps. Well, I saw a superstar in every single member of Toronto Ultra today. So if that woe continues heading into tomorrow, I don't know, Nameless.
Yo, is this kickoff? Like, these are the teams that were frying at kickoff. It's like full circle here at Major 3. This is going to be lit, but let's check out tomorrow's schedule and see what we have in store for us.
All right, first game of the day. Oh my God. Seattle versus Atlanta FaZe to kick off the day. After that, LA Thieves versus the Toronto Ultra. Merc, My body's ready.
Yeah, both of these should be bangers, right? Yeah. Just right from the Surge and FaZe, they have just put up some great matches throughout the year. And then Ultra and LA Thieves. I mean, LA Thieves, they're going to stay the villains. But I will say, right, LA Thieves, they need to figure out a way to not just be a momentum team. Because in one way, when they're losing quickly, it is very fast, like we saw today. Yeah. They cannot always rely on someone popping off, going on a 7 spree. The system has to be a little bit better, especially going up against Ultra, who has been so balanced throughout this tournament.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to lock down this desk right now. We're going to shut things down. But day 3 has been phenomenal so far. But tomorrow, you already know what to say. And then there are 4. We got LA in the mix, and you just can't sleep on them. From the performance that we saw today, you can't even guess it. But also, a lot of teams went home as well. OpTic Texas are out of the event. We still have Atlanta FaZe and Seattle Surge on top, and LA and Toronto at the bottom. But imagine this scenario, right? Toronto Ultra has this loser bracket run all the way to the finals. And what if they meet with their adversaries from last year, the Atlanta FaZe? But things can get flipped on its head. We can see Seattle Surge in their first finals in a major along with the Los Angeles Thieves this year. It is a beautiful scenario, and you guys already know the deal. We love you. Thank you for tuning in so far. You all at home are the real winners. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you tomorrow for more CDL action.